You're very welcome along to this weekend's sport on TV. Now, I'm cheating a little bit this weekend by including France versus Ireland. It's 8:10 on Thursday, so therefore it feels weird doing the sport on TV tomorrow with probably the biggest game of the weekend on a Thursday night. It is a Thursday night because of the Winter Olympics. I think that's well documented at this point. Still a bit frustrating, but it is sort of exciting, the novelty factor of a Thursday night game. So I am recording this Thursday morning. Before we get going, if you can take 2 seconds, hit that like button. And I think 90% plus people who watch any of my videos are actually not subscribed. So if you take 2 seconds, it's completely for free. Helps my content get out to a wider audience, and it will be much appreciated. I'll help continue me doing these videos. But let's get cracking. So Thursday, I decided to include everything on Thursday now. So bit all over the place, and the rating's going to be a touch inflated. So stay tuned for the end of that, or end of the video. It will be the highest rating I've given this year, believe it or not. So Thursday, Grand Prix Snooker, that's on across the entire weekend. So I've just included that for Thursday. The Winter Olympics has actually started. Curling's been on the last couple of days. That's 1:30 onwards. So basically onwards, if you're watching this, just check out TNT or the red button on BBC. Incidentally, RT are showing a good bit of the Winter Olympics, but that will be on the player. So I've just excluded that from this list. Just FYI on that. Phoenix Open throughout the week. Quite a decent field, actually, on the PGA Tour. That's on Sky. Going head-to-head with LIV in Riyadh is the opening LIV event of the year. That's 2:30. TNT are now partners of that, believe it or not. So that might have passed a few people by. Premier League darts starts first week of, I think, 16, 17 weeks in a row. Absolutely insane schedule. Every Thursday night live on Sky. This one is from Newcastle. Dublin itself is in a few weeks. We've got 3 football games kicking off around 8 o'clock. Atalanta versus Juventus. Premier Sports. Real Betis versus Atlético. Incidentally, all EFL matches kicking off a minute after their scheduled kickoff time, basically to raise awareness for CPR, and every minute matters. That's from the British Heart Foundation. So very good cause there. It just FYI, if you're wondering why some of those kickoffs are 1 minute past where they normally are. And the big one, France versus Ireland, 8:10. Virgin Media have this game also. If you're watching in the UK, it is ITV, who will incidentally be showing ads during the games. Very interesting to see how that goes down over the water. So let's move on to Friday. We've got the Winter Olympics continuing. Qatar Masters is continuing. It was on Thursday, but Thursday morning. So we also have the Ireland 15, they're called. They're not the Ireland A team anymore. Versus England A. That's Premier Sports from 7:15. The Bundesliga game in that regular slot is 7:30. Then we have Leicester versus Newcastle. That's rugby. The return of the League of Ireland. Very excited for this. Shamrock Rovers versus Dundalk is the Virgin Media game. That's at 8 o'clock. And we've got 3 7:45 games on LOITV. Leeds Forest is the Premier League game. It is Friday night, 8 o'clock. And 1 minute past 8, Charlton versus QPR. Let's go on to Saturday here. And we've got the World Cup T20 kicking off. So we've got 3 games live, both on Saturday and Sunday live on Sky. What else we got? We've got Manchester United versus Spurs. That's 12:30 early kickoff game. You've got those EFL matches, as I touched on there. They're 12:31. Big game for Ipswich away to Derby to try and keep track of Coventry, Middlesbrough, and Hull City, who are up there as well. Six Nations continues. 2:10. Italy versus Scotland. Then we've England versus Wales. RTE have the latter. Virgin Media have the former. Waterford versus Dublin, the ladies football, little national leagues. That's TG Carr from 2:45. And then it's hurling all the way for this weekend. I'll cover this in a separate video, but Wexford versus Carlow. And then the big one, Cork versus Tipperary. It's gone way above the 25,000 expected now. And now we're looking at 30, 35. Who knows, maybe 40. Probably going to tad out of ourselves. But there's only terrace tickets there when I looked last. So that could be a great game and a great occasion. RTM maybe going a bit under the radar at the moment, which is why, again, I put out a separate video on Cork versus Tip. Celtic versus Dundee, that's Scottish Cup action in Premier Sports, the same competition for Aberdeen versus Motherwell. And we've got France versus Ireland, the under-20s. That's on the RT player, given Cork versus Tipperary is taking precedence on RT2. And, of course, match of the day in that slot as well. Let's go to Sunday. And I would say quite a decent Sunday. We've got UFC action overnight. We've got those another 3 World T20 Cup games. Sorry, the World T20 World Cup is probably the way I should be phrasing that. But it includes England versus Nepal, but also Ireland's against Sri Lanka there as well. We've got Eredivisie action. We've got Waterford versus Offaly in their hurling. Bows versus Pats. I'll be heading to this game myself in the Aviva Virgin Media 2. Brighton versus Palace is the 2 o'clock game. And then we've got Liverpool versus Man City in the 4:30 slot. We've got Kildare Antrim, if you want that in the hurling, on the TG Carr app. And we've got Limerick versus Kilkenny, the main channel. And as good a game as we have this weekend, outside of maybe the rematch of the All-Ireland final on Saturday night, and that is Limerick versus Kilkenny. That's Sunday, 3:45. We've got Juventus versus Lazio. That's a typo there. You can see it's actually meant to be 7:45, of course. And then we've got those highlight shows of League Sunday Match Today. And then the big one, the Super Bowl, 11:30. It is going to be live from San Francisco. It is on Virgin Media, Sky Sports, but it's also on Sky Showcase, the old Sky One channel. So there is loads of different ways to watch that. So very excited for the Super Bowl. It is the Seahawks and Patriots from San Francisco. Seahawks go into it as favorites. So let me know in the comments if you like these sort of videos to continue. I have sort of separated them out a bit. I have a GA on TV this weekend, a Six Nations on TV this weekend, and a League of Ireland on TV this weekend. And they're sort of mini previews. If you prefer the separate formats, I might continue them. But if you like this overall project of just covering sport on TV this weekend, leave a comment, let me know. And as I said, if you can take 2 seconds, hit that like button. Be much appreciated. Let me know, as I said, the rating for this one is 7.2. I can't resist that bit of Super Bowl at the end. So nudges it to the best rated weekend sport on TV so far in 2026. So 7.2. Let me know your rating itself, and I'll chat to you next week.